If I have to quickly sum up what the Realme 7 Pro brings to the table, it's everything that the Realme 7 doesn't. Where the Realme 7 gets a 90Hz refresh rate display, the Realme 7 Pro gets an AMOLED display with 60Hz refresh rate. And while the Realme 7 gets a 5000 mAh battery with 30 watts of fast charging, the Realme 7 Pro gets a whooping 65 watts of fast charging but a smaller 4500 mAh battery. The Realme 7 Pro is also powered by a Qualcomm chipset, while the Realme 7 runs on a MediaTek chip. And then there are the obvious features that comes with the Pro tag on the Realme 7 Pro. Things like an under-display fingerprint sensor, newer features in the camera, and a lot more. And it is in this context that we're going to be reviewing the Realme 7 Pro. Hi, I'm Shubhajit from Digit.in, and I've been using the Realme 7 Pro since the beginning of this week. And here's how it performed in our review. Straight off, the Realme 7 Pro feels a lot more compact as compared to the Realme 7. It's also slimmer and lighter in weight. The material seems to be the same on both smartphones with a smooth matte finish. It's likely plastic, but I'm not very sure. The frame definitely is polycarbonate, and there's Gorilla Glass 3 on the front. In the hand, the Realme 7 Pro feels comfortable to hold and use. The small form factor even allows one-handed usage, but you'll need slightly larger hands than mine. The 6.4-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display is a first for the Realme Number series. After putting a 90Hz LCD display on the Realme 6 Pro previously, Realme sort of backtracked, claiming fans liked an LCD display over higher refresh rate. Yet, the cheaper Realme 7 sticks to a 90Hz refresh rate. Mixed signaling much? The panel is actually quite bright and is just about usable outdoors under the sun. Indoors, the colors pop out and watching movies, playing games and reading articles feels quite good. Another advantage of having an AMOLED display is lower minimum brightness. The Realme 7 Pro goes down to 6 nits in the dark, which is low enough to not hurt the eyes. Inside, the Realme 7 Pro relies on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G under the hood, along with up to 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage. And with a dedicated cooling system, it's likely that the processor won't face any bottlenecks in performance. On benchmark, the Realme 7 Pro scores near about the same as its predecessor, and as such, remains quite competitive in the mid-range segment. With the price tag now going beyond the 20,000 mark, the Realme 7 Pro buyers should consider more powerful options like the upcoming 6GB RAM variant of the OnePlus Nord or even the older Xiaomi Redmi K20 Pro. Having said that, the smartphone works just fine for my usage. It's satisfyingly fast, apps launch without a delay, games load quickly enough, and the essential services like the camera or the dialer also open near instantly. The under-display fingerprint sensor, however, is much slower than the side-mounted offering on the Realme 7, and I found that a little funny. The difference in refresh rate is also quite apparent, but I happen to agree with Realme here. AMOLED display is far more useful than higher refresh rate. Now let's look at gaming, and here with PUBG Mobile now banned, our work was cut short. We looked at the COD mobile performance, and like before, the game was able to run with all graphic settings maxed out, including things like ragdoll physics, reflections and more. GameEdge data revealed the Realme 7 Pro could run COD Mobile at a flat 60 frames per second with 100% stability and with very high graphics enabled, which makes this one at par with the flagship smartphones as far as COD performance is concerned. The smartphone also supports 180Hz of touch sampling rate, which kicks in as you turn on the competition mode in the GameSpace app, and I had no problem tasting some blood in the game. As expected, the Realme 7 Pro performs top-notch. What about the camera? Well, the telephoto lens from the Realme 6 Pro is now gone, and it uses a Sony sensor for the 64 megapixel camera. Also, we noticed a lot of Realme X3 Super Zoom's night mode features trickle down, including the starry mode. There's also a Pro mode dedicated to 64 megapixel photos and a portrait mode in videos. On the front is a 32 megapixel selfie camera with more or less the same features as the rear cameras. Here's how the photos come out. In the day, the Realme 7 Pro's photos come out looking quite nice. The sharpness is on point, there's details when you zoom in, and the camera is able to bring out details in the shadows. I do find the colors far too saturated for my liking, and the AI mode tends to add more warmth to the frame. These can certainly be improved with a future software update, and Realme usually keeps issuing updates to the camera, and I'm not too worried here. What I really liked this time was the new addition to video and the night mode. The night mode has a dedicated tripod mode, a pro mode, and color filters. It's safe to say that no one offers this many features in the night mode, and it did keep me busy the whole evening one day. You can see some of my experimental shots here. I wouldn't call it top quality, but hey, at least it's fun. Same goes for videos. The Realme 7 Pro brings things like portrait video, color pop mode, ultra steady videos, and a dedicated movie mode. The ultra-wide lens is not consistent with the output from the primary camera, however. There's noticeable difference in the color output between the two, and it's best used in the day with uniform lighting. The Realme 7 Pro's 32-megapixel selfie camera is really good. I'm not much of a fan of taking selfies, but even I like the quality it was able to bring out. The texture of the mask, the marks on my face were all reproduced with good precision. The macro lens, on the other hand, is just as bad as that on the Realme 7. Now I saved the best for the last. 65 watts of fast charging. It's a game changer for the mid-range segment, and I never really had to bother about putting time away to charge the smartphone. The 4500 mAh battery took around 40 minutes to reach 100%, and the power intake is quite conservative. 30 minutes of watching an episode of Hoops on Netflix drained the battery by 6%, while a multiplayer match on Call of Duty Mobile chipped away 4% charge. With heavy usage, the phone hits the 15% charge mark by evening and needs a 5-minute top-up to last the rest of the day. So summing up, the Realme 7 Pro really feels like a well-made smartphone that nails the basics and then goes on to sweeten the deal with things like a 65-watt fast charger and a host of new camera features that also happen to be quite useful. Now, I did have a lot of fun reviewing the smartphone, but it was not the perfect smartphone in the mid-range segment by any means. The fingerprint sensor could have been a lot better. The macro camera could have had a lot more details, and including the telephoto lens would have made it the perfect smartphone. Then again, everything is not always sorted out in a smartphone, but with what's on offer on the Realme 7 Pro, it does come across as a good proposition. Yes, the price could have been a lot lesser had there been no pandemic, no GST rate hike, or the supply chain disruptions. So with everything said and done and present conditions prevailing, the Realme 7 Pro is really as good as it gets in the mid-range segment. That was our review of the Realme 7 Pro. Let us know in the comment section below how you liked it, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. Thanks for watching.